We are now joined by AJ Allmendinger, driver of the number 47 Kingsford Chevrolet, native of Los Gatos, California. Is that right?
San Jose, Los Gatos, Northern California.
There you go.
Like I always tell people, and they're like, oh, California Southern? I'm like, no, different state.
Different state.
Different state. I'm not from there.
Obviously, Sonoma could be the perfect opportunity for you to pick up a win this weekend to solidify your spot in the chase for the Sprint Cup. Talk a little bit about being in Sonoma and being home for the weekend.
Yeah, it's always good to come back to Sonoma. Missed it last year for a good reason. I was winning at Road America, so we'll just state that out there. But no, I miss being here, and being a home race for me, it's nice to see my family and some friends and all that. But it's one of those things you got to kind of split up between doing your job and then just seeing all your friends and kind of hanging out and catching up. So, a good opportunity to try to get a win, but you can't put too much pressure on yourself getting here saying that this is the only race that we have a shot to win at. So, just kind of taking the weekend as it comes and really going from there step by step. So, really proud of this team so far, where we've gotten. Excited to announce that Clorox has signed up for 3 more years. So that's good to have that on a race car and kind of get that solidified. By the end of their contract, I think it'll be 20 years that they've been with this race team. So just a great brand to have on the car. So good things going into this weekend, and hopefully we can build on that and have a good weekend all together.
Okay, we'll open up for questions. We'll start up front with Melinda, then go to Kenny.
Hey, AJ. Just to kind of follow up on what Christy said, but do you really look at this as an opportunity? You have so much road course experience to make it into the chase with a win here.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be lying if I said I didn't come in here with the mindset that we have a shot to win this thing. But at the same point, the Sprint Cup Series every weekend is so tough now, and it's, a lot different than 10, 15 years ago where I thought, you looked at the series and said, oh, maybe there's 5 or 8, maybe 10 guys at most that can win on a road course race. Now it's so deep, and everybody's gotten so good at road course racing in general. So, we tested here for 2 days, which was big because I felt like what we started here as the test, we'd have been way off if we would have came back and hadn't tested. So it was a good 2-day test. But like I said, I don't want to walk into this weekend saying, if we don't get this race, then it's a disappointment. We just got to come have a solid weekend. If we can run inside the top 10, good. And if we can be inside the top 5 and have a shot to win it, then it's a great weekend. And that's how I look at it.
Okay, we'll take questions from Kenny, then go to John, Tom, and Holly.
Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. AJ, I've heard a couple of times in recent weeks in the garage, keep your eye on the 47 team. Keep your eye on the 47 team. Those guys are improving. Last couple of weeks, you've not had great runs, or great finishes, rather. Are you guys any good or not, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at the nature of our team. This doesn't happen overnight. Last year this team was 30th or 31st in points. I feel like the series itself has gotten deeper with everybody kind of stepping up their level of competition. And, we're going to have those weeks up and down. We're not a Hendrick team. It is what it is. We're a one-car team that's slowly building. I think if you look at RCR as a whole, just the general from the Alliance to RCR itself, we're all a little bit behind. It's not like the RCR cars are dominating and we're hanging on to the back. We're all pretty close together. So I think it's kind of an open question. Are we good? We have the potential of being good. Are we there yet? No. On our best weekends like this, can we go win a race? I think we can, but are we going to have weekends to where the last couple of weeks we just struggled to run, 20th? That's the nature of it. I was kind of, you look at it last week, and I was frustrated after we got done with the race, and you're like, man, we're struggling. But then you look at the guys I was racing around during the race, Denny Hamlin, Carl Edwards, Greg Biffle, those types of guys. It's tough in this series right now. So we just got to keep getting better each weekend. And we're going to have our ups and downs. We've had some great runs this year. We've had some runs that, you would expect from a single-car team that's trying to build. So the good thing is our team owner, Tad Geschichter, he's the most patient person. I'm not. So I get done, and I'm like, oh, man, we gotta fix this. He's like, as he told me when we started this isn't a one weekend, a one race, a 1-year thing. I'm in this team for a long-term period. So we just got to keep getting stronger together.
Okay, we'll take our next question from John, then come back over to Tom.
Hi, AJ. John Householder, NASCAR Productions. I have here that in May you finished 5th at Talladega. How will you and your team use that momentum as you try to gain from your strong finish as you head to yet another restrictor plate racetrack, Daytona, here in 2 weeks?
The good thing is our ECR's got a ton of power when it comes to the super speedway races. A lot of that is based on luck too. I thought we had a fast car, but I got to miss all the wrecks too. I was around about 3 of them. That's just part of it. But I look at where we're strong and our weak. Our super speedway program. Daytona, we had a fast car and we had a mechanical failure. Talladega, obviously, as you said, finished 5th. Our short track program's been pretty good. I think the places we struggle is really the 1.5 mile racetracks. And I feel like those are the tracks that you really see the bigger budgets really come out because aerodynamics are so critical there. Just having those extra resources and that extra testing that those teams do really help those 1.5 mile racetracks. So I feel like that's where our weakness is. We go to Daytona in a couple weeks. Hopefully it's off of a couple of great runs here and Kentucky next week. And we'll just play it out and see how it goes. The way I look at those races is you just got to put yourself in the right place. If it goes wrong when you're in that spot, then it goes wrong. As long as you're not the cause of the big one, and that's all you can do.
Next question we'll take Tom.
Hi, AJ. Tom Jensen, FoxSports.com.
Love the energy, Tom. Where was the energy? You excited to be here?
I'm very excited to be here, AJ. Shoot, man, I was in the gym at 6
All right,
this
well, that's
morning getting a
good.
break.
Well, you should feel like you should be all jacked up from that now.
The coffee maker was broken in my room. I had no coffee this morning, brother.
I got you.
Cut me some slack.
I got you.
How much of an unknown is qualifying here?
It'll be interesting. I think out of all the places we've been to, this will probably be, I wouldn't say crazy, but I think it's hard to determine the spotters and the teams. I feel like throughout the course of all the qualifying, they've done a good job. You don't want to get in anybody's way. You don't want anybody to get in your way. So I'm sure there's people that have gotten blocked on a lap or two, but for the most part, I feel like qualifying's worked out where teams are nice to each other and spotters work with each other to get their driver a clean lap. Here, it's hard to do. You can sit here on pit road and say, okay, there's nobody coming into 11 for 10 seconds. Roll out there and you'll go out and have a clean lap. Well, by the time you get back to 11 to start your lap, how many more cars could have rolled out? So, and that's something you don't want to abuse your tires on your out lap. You want to kind of get them up to temp, but you don't want to over abuse them. So, I think those are really what's going to be critical, especially the first group. As you start getting a little bit less cars, it's not as of a big a deal. But the first group, you're going to have a lot of cars that maybe are on a cool-down lap or trying to get their tires in when somebody's on a hot lap. And it's hard to hide around here. I mean, you can't really hide and just get out of the way. So I think that's what will be the most critical. So, hopefully we got good speed out in practice and we see that, and you just go out in that first group and you can nail a lap and then just sit and wait and let your tires cool down. So it'll definitely be interesting.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Holly, then go upstairs and come back down for more questions here.
Holly Kane, NASCAR.com. AJ, could you talk about, have you noticed the racing here getting more aggressive in the last few years, or is that just something we all talk about? What is the nature of that?
I think just the competition level has stepped up. So it's not like if you're fast, you kind of blister through the pack, and then you have a few guys you're racing. You look at how deep the field is now on these road course races. I think that's why it's aggressive, because it's hard to pass. I mean, everybody's so close. And if you get kind of stuck in the back of the pack, it's hard to go anywhere. I mean, you look at Marcus last year at Watkins Glen. He's leading the race, and pit strategy worked out where he restarted 20th, and it was hard for him to go anywhere, and he dominated that race. So it just shows how deep the field is. Especially around this place, it's so tight. The double file restarts are some of that, because it's not like before when it was single file. Everybody was kind of in line, and then if you made a pass, you made a pass. You go through these first how many corners side by side, and that's when you can really make your most time. So it's definitely gotten more aggressive, and I think the competition level's just gotten higher, and that's what kind of relates to everybody being so aggressive. And also around this place, your fenders don't matter as much as Watkins Glen, so people seem to use them up a little bit more.
Okay, we'll go upstairs. Are there any questions?
Dustin Long, MRN.com.
Like God's talking up there. What's going on?
Yes, AJ, do as I say. AJ, Can you talk about what is the biggest challenge at this course for you, and what is that, why is that part challenging, whether it's a particular part of the course or if it's the restarts or something else? What's the biggest challenge here?
The biggest thing to me is just saving your rear tires. That's something that this place, especially with how much horsepower these cars have now, just being able to save your rear tires. And I think, you've seen in these races, the person that's able to have better forward drive as the run goes on. The first few laps, the tires got a lot of grip. Everybody's kind of getting after it. But after about 5, 6, 7 laps, the rear tires really start to go off. And you see the cars that have better forward and lateral bite through the S's and off of 11 here. Those are the good cars. So in practice, it's really focusing on getting good forward drive, saving the rear tires. Then in the race, when you're behind somebody, that's really the critical thing, is to not fall into their tempo and their mistakes. And using your car up more, trying to get around them. It's real easy to see a guy make a mistake or just trying to be aggressive, and you quickly burn your rear tires off, and then you're done the rest of the stint. So, I think that's what everybody works on here, and that's what they focus on, is trying to get the forward drive. And if you don't have that, you're not going to win the race. So it's the most critical part of this racetrack to me.
Okay, we're running tight on time. Final 2 questions. We'll just take one from Jeff and then go to Steve.
Jeff Gluck from USA Today. When you go back to Los Gatos or San Jose or wherever your friends and family are, do you cruise around your hometown? Like, do you go by your old school? Like, what do you do when you
I
go
hated
back
high
here?
school, so I definitely don't go back to high school. My goal of high school was just getting through it. I had to have a 3.0 to make sure I got through it so I could race every weekend, and that was it. I made the mistake one time. It was during the winter. I always found my grades going into the winter were better because I wasn't racing go-karts all winter. So made a mistake the one time. I was like, you know what, I'm really going to see how good I get my grades. I got a 4.0. My mom's like, oh, okay. So I see now. But no, I don't go back to high school. I wouldn't even say I roll through my old town. Nobody really knows me, so that's the way I like it. If I sneak under the radar and nobody really knows me, that's my happiest moment. So I actually don't get back much. I'm fortunate enough that my parents come to a lot of the races. I would say they come to all the West Coast races. They still live in Hollister, and they at least come to probably 10 or 12 races. So I only come back really for Christmas.
Okay, final question, Steve.
By the way, don't listen to Dustin. God wouldn't have broken his leg or foot.
Yeah. Whoa. Wow. I'm going to leave that one alone.
You
All
just,
right.
you just talk about Kentucky, the characteristics of that racetrack, and what are the challenges of Kentucky Speedway?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I think, the most unique mile-and-a-half racetrack that we have. It's definitely bumpy. It's kind of wavy. It's not like hard, harsh bumps, but there are a lot of waves in the racetrack. And I think 1 and 2 is way different than 3 and 4, how you drive them. So it's unique. It makes it a lot of fun. There's not a ton of grip on the racetrack, so I think that's why we see such good racing there. The line kind of moves out and the tires go off. But it's a tough place to set your car up for. So, and it's one of those weekends, if the weather's right, where you practice during the day and then you go into the night, and it makes it critical to try to guess what the setup's going to do as you go into the nighttime. But it's a fun racetrack. And, I never got to really run a lot of trucks or nationwide there. I didn't do any races. Only tested there a little bit. So it's been a lot of fun when we've raced there.
All right, AJ, thank you very much for your time. Good luck this weekend.